My name is Margaret. I'm 35 years old and I live in Denver, Colorado with my husband Spencer. He's 38 and we've been married for 10 years. I work as a nurse, taking care of people who are sick, and I'm also a mother to our 9-year-old son, Joe. Spencer loves us deeply and trusts me completely, but I've been hiding something from him. Every single morning, I wake up carrying this secret in my heart, and it feels unbearably heavy. I know that if Spencer ever discovers the truth, everything we've built together will collapse. Before I married Spencer, I was in love with someone else. His name was Derek. He had dark hair, blue eyes, and a smile that could light up any room. He was kind, funny, and everything I thought I wanted. Derek was my first love, and I believed we would spend our lives together. We shared our dreams, our fears, and every part of ourselves, but our families stood in the way. They said we were too different, that our backgrounds, religions, and cultures could never mix. One day, Derek simply left, and my heart shattered into pieces. I missed him terribly, but I never spoke about it to anyone. My parents soon started looking for marriage proposals for me. That's when they found Spencer. He was 28 at the time, educated, successful, and genuinely kind. My parents were thrilled, and they pushed me to marry him. I agreed, even though part of my heart still belonged to Derek. What Spencer doesn't know is that I never completely stopped talking to Derek. We stayed in touch, just occasionally at first, but the connection never truly disappeared. Then one night, everything changed. I was feeling lost and confused about my life. I met Derek again after months of not seeing him. We talked about old times, about what we once had, and suddenly all those buried feelings rushed back. In a moment of weakness, we crossed a line we should never have crossed. It was a terrible mistake, one I would regret for the rest of my life. A few weeks later, I started feeling different. I took a pregnancy test, and it was positive. When I told Spencer, his face lit up with pure joy. He kissed my forehead and said we were finally going to be parents. He believed the baby was his, and I couldn't bring myself to tell him otherwise. Every time Spencer put his hand on my belly or talked about our future as parents, guilt ate away at me. His happiness was built on my silence, on my lie. Derek never called to ask about anything. He moved on with his life and eventually got married to someone else. But I stayed trapped in my secret, drowning in shame. When Joe was born, Spencer became the most devoted father I'd ever seen. He changed diapers in the middle of the night, packed school lunches with little notes, and read bedtime stories with different voices for every character. He loved that boy with his whole heart, believing Joe was his son. I watched them together and smiled on the outside, but inside I was breaking. Spencer's love was real and pure, but my truth was rotting beneath it all. Years passed, and the lie became part of our daily life. Then one afternoon, Joe was riding his bike when he fell badly and got seriously injured. There was blood everywhere, and we rushed him to the hospital in a panic. The doctors said he needed a blood transfusion immediately. They tested Spencer's blood first, since he was the father. But then the doctor asked a question that made my world stop. He said, "Are you certain you're the biological father?" Spencer stood there frozen, and I felt like I couldn't breathe. That night, we sat in our living room in complete silence. Finally, I started talking. Slowly, painfully, I told Spencer everything. I told him about Derek, about that one night, about the pregnancy, and about 5 years of lies. Tears streamed down my face as I confessed it all. Spencer remained calm, but I could see the devastation in his eyes. When I finished, he spoke quietly but firmly. He said, "I gave this boy my name, my love, my entire life, and you gave me nothing but a lie." His words cut deeper than any knife. I wanted to apologize, to beg for forgiveness, but nothing I could say would undo the damage. A week later, the phone rang. It was Joe's school calling because he had gotten into a fight. Spencer asked him why he hit another boy, and Joe answered, "Because he said you're not my real daddy." The secret had escaped. It was no longer just between Spencer and me. It had reached our innocent child, and that broke something inside me that I didn't know could break any further. That same day, I was waiting at the school gate when a car pulled up. A man stepped out, and my heart stopped. It was Derek. He walked straight toward me, but his eyes were fixed on Joe. "Margaret," he said coldly, "I know he's mine. Give me my son." I couldn't move or speak. My worst nightmare was happening right in front of me. Derek didn't wait for my response. He came to our house and demanded to speak with Spencer. He told Spencer he wanted to see Joe, that he suspected the boy was his, and that he would fight for custody. Spencer was still processing my betrayal, still trying to find a way to forgive me, and now he had to face this new threat. Derek said he wanted a DNA test immediately, and he was prepared to take us to court if necessary. What began as my private secret had turned into a legal battle, and I watched helplessly as everything fell apart. The DNA test was scheduled, and Derek took us to court. He had documentation, he had rights, and the law seemed to be on his side. But what he didn't have was love, not the kind Spencer had given every single day. Spencer stood up to fight, not for himself, but for the child he had raised and loved with all his heart. And I stood between two men, one connected by blood and one connected by love, feeling completely powerless to protect the family I had destroyed. Finally, I stood up in that courtroom, my hands trembling and my voice barely steady. I looked at the judge and spoke from my heart. Yes, Derek is the biological father, but where was he when Joe cried through the night? Who held him during his first fever? Who celebrated his first steps and heard his first words? It wasn't Derek. It was Spencer. Spencer was there every single day, giving love and not just life. And I choose the man who raised my child with his whole heart, not the one who left after one night. The courtroom fell silent. Derek looked away, unable to meet anyone's eyes. I held back my tears, knowing my words were true even though they came too late. My truth had hurt Spencer deeply, broken his trust completely, but somehow it didn't destroy us entirely. After everything, Spencer chose to stay. His forgiveness wasn't easy or immediate, but it was real. We started going to therapy together, working through the pain piece by piece. It's still hard, and some days the hurt feels fresh again. But now we have no secrets between us. We speak honestly, even when the truth is painful. I learned something through all this suffering. Lies might give you temporary peace, but they never last. Only truth has the power to build a real life. One founded on trust, love, and genuine hope. The love that stays through the hardest moments is the love that matters most. And that's the love Spencer showed me, even when I didn't deserve it.